In a world where truth is often twisted, we strip away the illusions. Every wound has a root, every lie has a pattern, and every survivor deserves clarity. This is The Breakdown. Real talk, real recovery. Powered by the Church of Real Talk and the Now Movement. Stay powerful.
This is The Breakdown, no other way. When it comes to narcissistic abuse, silence isn't safety, it's strategy. Tonight, we explore how the empath becomes ensnared, why the mask must be protected, and what it truly takes to wake up. Facts matter. Healing depends on awareness and intervention.
Greetings. I'm so glad you can join me right here for another episode of The Breakdown. This breakdown, we're explaining why there is no other way now. The Now Movement, no other way but forward. This is a perilous time for empaths. Narcissism and narcissistic abuse is actually on the rise. Yes, we've been able to put a name to it. We've been able to identify it, but empaths, with their need to constantly fix and heal things, it puts them at risk still. And what we want to do with this episode of The Breakdown, always facts over feelings, we want to give them the tools to be able to navigate this treachery. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started.
In 2014, Baskin Summers and colleagues published Empathy and Narcissistic Personality Disorder, from clinical and empirical perspectives. The study revealed that people with narcissistic traits often lack true emotional empathy. When an empath meets a narcissist, the connection becomes projection, not partnership. The empath feels what the narcissist refuses to face, becoming the mirror that keeps the mask alive. Research shows the more you try to heal them, the more you risk losing your own voice.
This is a beautiful study because people don't realize, I think many people don't realize just how closely intertwined the narcissist and the empath are. It's almost like two stars revolving around each other, with the narcissistic star trying to absorb and destroy the empath star. One of the things that I noticed in my own experiences was I felt my identity slipping away, being siphoned off of me, almost like those two stars in orbit of each other. I truly did become the reflection. So many parts of them I absorbed because as an empath, I wanted to fix the problem. See, instead of looking at the facts and looking at what was going on in my life, instead of gaining clarity, my main focus was to salvage this illusion that had been created inside of my head. It only sat in my mind. This person never loved me. All they were doing was trying to subdue their shame by reflecting all of the mean, nasty, evil, disgusting things onto me. So therefore, I became the caretaker of the mask. I became the guardian of the mask. And the reason why I found myself in that position was because, once again, I just wanted to do what empaths have done throughout time. I wanted to help people heal. And empaths are loyal. It's so crazy how loyal we are once we say we're in love. I mean, one of the things that I never do in a relationship that I actually treasure, that I want to keep, I'm not going to cheat. There's no reason for me to cheat. My mindset is to grow and foster and nourish and love that relationship. The narcissist would project these things onto me as if I was cheating. And I'm like, no. And then I soon found out that's what narcissists do. They project what they're doing onto you to ease their shame. It's a scary thing to find yourself at any stage of your life where you feel that you're losing your identity, where you feel that you're losing yourself. But even though I want to say so much, as always, facts over feelings. Let's get into the next part.
In 2020, a qualitative study titled Living with Pathological Narcissism found that survivors described their relationships as trauma-based and identity-eroding. They didn't just lose peace, they lost a piece of themselves. Psychologists note that the empath's compassion can become captivity, a cycle of hope and hurt reinforced by intermittent kindness. Jung warned of the inflation of the healer archetype, when compassion crosses its boundary and becomes self-sacrifice. Intervention begins when the empath realizes they are not the caretaker of the mask. They are the one trapped by it.
This is why I use that word clarity so much. This is the reason why, because we find ourselves as empaths in this crazy way of thinking, way of living when we're caught in a narcissistic relationship. And the narcissist is full aware of this. In fact, this is actually calculated. See, once they've identified the fact that you are indeed an empath, they want to do a couple of things. First off, what attracted them to you were qualities that they didn't have inside of them. It could have been your popularity. It could be that you easily made friends. It could actually be your ability to love, your ability to be empathetic. Narcissists, if they don't have these qualities, what they'll do sometimes is they'll mirror them. They'll mimic them, which gives you a feeling of safety in the beginning of the relationship because you're kind of looking at yourself. The narcissistic and the empathetic relationship is always mirrors, as Carl Jung would say. It's different mirrors, different shadows. The narcissist, in a way, acts like the black widow spider. So if we're looking at a female black widow spider, what do? They find a mate, they attract a mate, they mate with them. When they become impregnated with babies, what do they do with the mate? They discard them. In wildlife, they eat the mate. The mate has served its purpose. And this is the same cycle that we see in narcissistic abusive relationships. We see that that person is only there until one of two things happens, okay? The narcissist realizes that they cannot mimic this person. They cannot take those qualities that they coveted. So what they do is they get upset, they get mad, and they actually blame the person. Why do you have to be this way? And why can't I be like you? I've got to discard you. Basically each. And the other thing that they will do sometimes is before the discard, they will make you take so much of their darkness inside of them that you just collapse on your own. You literally collapse on your own because you've lost your sense of worth. You've lost your sense of identity. You've lost the sense of the person that you are. And at the same time, guess what you're doing? You're still holding on to the hope that you can fix this relationship to the part of your brain during the love bombing that you thought really existed. Does this make the narcissist evil? I say yes, because they know exactly what they're doing. Everything is done intentionally. Nothing is done by mistake. Nothing is done by some like crazy trigger or something like that. They know exactly what they're doing. And at every point, just like every other human being on this planet, they have a choice. They can do it. There's always those points in the relationship where they could just say, you know what, this isn't working out. Nothing against you. It's my fault. And just move on. But they choose not to. They choose to stick around to where either they can drain their victim and leave them a lifeless husk, or discard them in the most violent way ever. But I think I'm going a little bit into feelings because I've experienced this. And due to me sometimes spending 24 hours of just researching it so that I understand it, the aha moment that I had was, there's somebody out there that doesn't understand this. And there's somebody out there that's going through this right now. And there's somebody thinking that narcissist is just a word that people throw around like vampire. They don't really exist. They do exist. And if you're an empath, they're looking for you.
In 2023, Simard's meta-analysis, The Relationship Between Narcissism and Empathy, reviewed over 30 years of research and confirmed that pathological narcissism systematically undermines genuine connection. A 2022 comprehensive review of narcissistic personality disorder emphasized the need for updated clinical models and trauma-informed recovery. The takeaway is simple. Your silence isn't harmless. It's part of a system built to keep you invisible. Intervention begins with naming the pattern and reclaiming the right to be seen.
At the last segment, I trailed off with these demons do exist, these vampires do exist, and they have stayed hidden in the shadows. And it's like the perfect plan. You keep those that you are abusing silent until you can do your dirty work, your nefarious work, until you can destroy this person to make yourself feel better. And the victim, the empath, is made to stay silent. Sometimes they do it on their own from shame. You don't want to discuss that you were bamboozled, you were taken advantage of, you were hurt by someone that you gave your all to. It could be guilt, where the empath feels that they didn't try hard enough, they didn't love hard enough, they were lacking something inside of them. Again, this is all intentional. And this is why I would say until the last decade that they stayed hidden in the shadows. Where if you even said the word narcissist, what are you talking about? They're just a toxic person. Get over it. You're letting them get in your head. No, they are in your head as an empath. They are systematically destroying you. And it's done in the same stages over and over. Sometimes, even as I was studying this, I couldn't realize that. How did these people stay hidden for so freaking long? How did they slide under the radar for so long? And their playbook, as simplistic as it is, in a sense, is perfection. You diminish the person to the point where they feel they are to blame for their own destruction. And like those studies said, there needs to be more work done to help people survive these toxic situations. There's not, yes, it's starting to open up more. And I give a huge thanks to social media, because more and more people are talking about what has actually happened to them. And then other people are putting the pieces together. Not fast enough for me. And that's why I had to start the Now movement. That's why it had to exist, because it wasn't happening quick enough. This isn't about karma. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about payback. This is just allowing a person that just wants to be able to love and be loved to exist in this lifetime. Yes, there needs to be more studies. There needs to be funding for more studies. There needs all of this stuff needs to be done. A lot of people don't realize abuse is abuse. Whether it's physical or psychological, it's abuse. Anything that can cripple a person, take away the fire, the spark that makes each individual a great person, anything that can take away that spark, no, we've got to intervene. And that's why NOW stands for no other way but forward. There comes a time where you can just sit back and wait for the world to catch up, or you can actually do something about this. The only gift that I got from my narcissistic abusers was it made me aware. And sometimes that is the beginning, to become aware. I talk about this a lot in many of my videos. You can't go to the doctor's office and say, "Doc, I hurt." There's going to be questions so that he can identify what is hurting you, what is causing you pain. And that's the same thing that we need to do as empaths in all aspects of our lives. We need to stop. This is our shadow. We need to stop rushing in with guns blazing to heal everything around us and forget that we deserve peace too. We deserve to heal too. As the narcissist does, they look at the empath and they says, this person is going to expend the very last bit of their energy trying to fix me. I am broken and I am happy being broken. This is the narcissist mindset. They're not going to ever stop and say, you know what? No, you're killing yourself. I'm just an effed up individual. This is who I am. This is deep down inside. This is who I am. Come on, stop. Stop trying to heal me. Stop trying to fix me. Just go about your business. They're never going to do that because they need to keep their shame deep, far down. It's always bubbling right to the surface, but they need to constantly push it down. And what this does is, in the act of them just trying to, instead of dealing with their shadow, instead of dealing with their shame, what they're doing is they're destroying everyone around them. So yes, the now movement had to exist. The healing library had to exist. Guys I have to go out there. Now I find myself where I'm doing trauma healing in the community. We all have the potential as empaths, once we understand, once we put a name to our pain and understand. As an empath, this is when it should kick in, where you're saying, hey, listen, I can't watch anybody else go through this. It's not fair to them. They don't know what's going on. I say this a lot on my social media networks. I say this a lot. I want you to heal. Yeah, definitely. I want you to heal. I want you to stay powerful. I do. But I need you to use that empathetic side to join this movement, to join the now movement, to show others that there is no other way but forward. We can't wait for funding to come for studies to take any place from 1 year to 10 years while people are still being broken out in the real world. I'm not saying you have to join my movement, but as an empath, you've got to want to do something, don't you?
In 2023, a paper titled The Dark Side of Empathy in Narcissistic Personality Disorder revealed that empaths often become entangled in narcissistic relationships because their depth of feeling is used against them. Their empathy becomes currency in a one-sided economy of pain. The study concluded that recovery requires emotional boundaries, self-validation, and the willingness to disrupt the illusion. To intervene is to awaken. There is no other way than truth.
Yes, the truth. The truth overcomes all. But sometimes as empaths, in our need to love and be loved, sometimes we ignore the truth. The truth can be screaming right at us. In fact, it's our nervous system. Our nervous system screams at us throughout these narcissistic relationships. But like I said, this predator is very good at what they do. So they just intensify the love bombing. It's almost like they can sense that you're not trapped in the fog completely just yet. And then they just they just amplify the love bombing. And then once they know that the love bombing has overrode any common sense that you have, I mean, I used to always say that I knew, after I started studying all this stuff, I used to always say, I saw this, I knew this, why didn't I act on it? I like to think of myself as a somewhat intelligent person. I like to think of myself as someone that cannot be easily conned. However, when we're in the midst of a narcissist web and we're in the midst of love bombing, we tend to turn to our nervous system and say, if you don't shut the hell up and let me enjoy what's going on here, I don't know what I'm going to do. And the narcissist knows this. You will go through this whole relationship based on highs and lows. And then you'll start to notice in hindsight that there was always more lows than there were highs. It's just that the highs were super intense. We have learned that we need to listen to our gut feelings. We need to listen to ourselves. As empaths, that's actually helped us through life. I know you can sit here and probably tell me stories. In fact, put them in the comments where your empathy, your ability to have what they call discernment has probably saved your butt quite a few times. However, it's almost like a James Bond movie. The narcissist comes in your life and they have this instrument that just dampens common sense. And then you find yourself trapped, and then the cycle continues on because now you're trapped, and now you know you're trapped. Now you're ashamed to say anything. Now you're feeling guilty because you think it's kind of your fault, and at the same time, you're trying to fix the situation. You don't want to go to therapy. You know that you need therapy, but you don't want to go because you keep on telling yourself, the potential that I saw in this person when I first met them, I can bring that back out. There are some people that are still caught in the trauma bond. There are still people that are caught in these narcissistic relationships. And like any creator will tell you on any social network, the best advice they can give you is to run, to get far, far away. Just to, if you lose everything, you lose everything. But I would rather lose everything and have the opportunity to build myself back up than to find myself laying by the side of the road, just crushed, diminished, and devalued to the point where I can't pick myself back up again. The breakdown is my way of taking out all the BS. Because the way that I feel about things, another person might view that as being BS. But I had to learn that I'm not the caretaker of this person's mask. This is something that, as Carl Jung would have to say, what would have said is, they need to deal with this. It's not your job. They want it to be your job. They want you to take the responsibility and fix them, but it's not your job. And the sad and realistic thing about it is they don't want to be fixed. They have gone through most of their life just training people. And in their mind, it's almost like those old vampire movies. They think by what they're doing is going to keep them living forever and keep them young, and they're going to be powerful, and they're going to be above mortal men or women. This is what they think. Yeah, karma catches up with them, but who the hell wants to wait for karma? And as an empath, why would you tell somebody else that's going through this that maybe they should just hang on and wait for karma? I know, if you're watching this video, I know it's been a rough ride. I do. And this is part of you trying to find clarity. There is no one that is in a happy, fulfilling, both partners feeding into each other relationship that is scouring the internet, trying to figure out what narcissistic abuse is. They're not. And at the end of the day, as an empath, you do deserve that kind of relationship, a relationship where you feed into each other, where you're the number one fan of your partner, and your partner is your number one fan, and you're going to do great things together. A lot of people, I remember last year, a lot of people were putting up pictures of the early years of Michelle and Barack Obama when they were just getting started, and that used to make people feel like, wow, that's the kind of relationship that I want. As the kids say, ride or die. We're going to make it, and it's going to be us. You're not going to get that. That's the potential that the narcissist sells you, but you're not going to get that. And you have to constantly seek clarity. I'm not saying do like I do and start a movement. And if you do, go ahead. I love it. But I'm not telling you to spend 20, 23, 24 hours just scouring information on the internet. I'm not telling you to bypass watching your favorite shows so that you can listen to audiobooks by Carl Jung. I'm not telling you that you have to do that. But you're an empath for a reason. Part of that reason is that you're chosen. And part of the reason why you're chosen is because you have a purpose. And if you've gone through this, as I think my purpose was to actually go through this so I could build the now movement. So I can make something out of the pain that I experienced. And I'm kind of happy. I really am. I'm following in my path. I'm following in my purpose. I'm being a true empath. I'm helping people heal from the pain that was inflicted on them. I'm not going to say that the studies are worthless. I'm not. They make a lot of sense. And, you're just coming out of the fog now and you're catching my video and you say, I'm going to go find out information about that study you put up. See if that makes sense to me. That's the beginning of clarity. That's the beginning of identifying your pain. You can't stop what's hurting you until you know what's hurting you. And if the thing that's hurting you is sleeping next to you every night, you've got to deal with it. You've got to deal with it. And you've got to, at some point, decide that this is not something that I can fix. And if I continue to try to fix it more, I'm going to destroy myself. There's no shame in that. There's no guilt in that. How can you let somebody down that their only intent is to harm you? You've got to go out there and not only survive this and heal from this, but you've got to go out there and help others. I think that's what empaths do. Stop by the website, churchofrealtalk.com. Linkage is down up there someplace. Stop by the Healing Library if you want clarity. Free audiobooks, completely free. Okay, they're hosted by 11 Labs. I don't even want your email address. And you know what? If what I said to you during this video resonates just a little bit, think about joining the Now movement. It's not even a financial thing. I want a movement in every city, in every town, in every block, in every borough. Yeah, I'm from New York. I just want healing centers. I want a place where people can feel safe. I'm trying to do as much as I can, but as a one-man army, it's kind of hard. And then I sit on somebody else's board. But, I think we can do so much more together. And if you experience this, you know what I'm talking about. You know that we could be the lifeline for somebody else. So just shoot me an email. Let me know what. Maybe you can host videos on your channel and I can link them to the website. Maybe you can have healing circles or trauma recovery circles and help people get through this. Hey, maybe we can do a show together. Maybe we can get on here and do something together. It's not how big the step is, it's the willingness to take the first step. So with that being said, I'm not going to hold y'all. I know I left a lot on the table, but I left a lot of facts on the table. With that being said, I want you all to keep healing. I want you to stay powerful. And the reason why I do everything that I do, love you guys.
If you recognized yourself in any of these words, remember, awareness is your first act of freedom. Visit thechurchofrealtalk.com/breakfree to explore the Healing Library. Listen free to No More Chains and join the NOW movement. Because there is no other way. Stay powerful.